started.
We are live.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Siddiqa Pasi, and I'm the Chief Overseer for the ISCJ. Welcome to the first virtual Meet the Candidates. As you all know, we are getting ready to conduct the election via mail-in ballots and hold the annual general body meeting virtually because of the pandemic. And this is an unprecedented event. So I welcome you to the meeting. What we will be doing, inshallah, is to have our candidates, the brothers and sisters who are capable and committed to run for the positions that are wrapping up this year. And you'll get the opportunity to hear from them throughout this meeting. The bulk of this meeting is focused on you guys asking questions of the candidates and their ability to connect with you and get you comfortable with making the decision for the election. The tail end of the conversation will be with the Board of Trustees, executive team, giving you updates on what's going on with the masjid. Alhamdulillah, things are starting to open up from the pandemic, so you'll have an opportunity to ask questions. The event is being streamed on YouTube Live. So the way you can ask questions is through the chat box, and we'll be able to answer those. We're monitoring this and we'll ask the questions. So as we always do, we'll start the event with a dua. Brother Riyaz Siddiqui is on, and he'll start us off with the dua so that we can get going with the program, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Let's open our hands and pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahumma ja'al جمعنا هذا جمعا مرحوما وتفرقنا من بعده تفرقا معصوما. Oh Allah, please bless our gathering of this. Make it a blessed gathering. And when we disperse at the end of the meeting, let us disperse without any rancor or any ill feeling against anyone. May Allah accept our prayer. And let us pray Surah Al-Fatiha to seek Allah's guidance. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'een. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. Siratal lazina an'amta alayhim. غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Ameen.
Jazakallah, Brother Riyaz. So we're going to get started with the program. I'm going to go ahead and just share the screen for the event. Make sure I have the ability to share the screen. Brother Arif, can you make sure that I have the ability to share my screen? Inshallah, in the next hour, what we're going to do is we're going to hear from the candidates who are going to be running for this election. As you know, the election is scheduled for October 1st, when you guys are supposed to mail in your mail-in ballots, and it needs to be received by our ISCJ office. And then the annual general body meeting is going to be held fourth Sunday. So today, the candidates who are going to be running for the election are, we've got 3 positions for the trustees, and we have 3 3-year terms. Yeah. You will be hearing from the folks who are here on the live event. In the case that, in case of Sister Atiya Aftab, she is traveling and she could not be here. So we're going to start with the pre-prepared statement that she has provided to us. And then we move on to the 2 positions that are available for the Board of Overseers. Brother Ashik and Brother Syed are on the call, and you'll have an opportunity to speak about your experience and your background. The introduction is going to be about 2 minutes. So let me get started with sharing Sister Afia Aftab's pre-prepared statement. So let me do that screen. And
Assalamualaikum. I think there's a lag there and no, I'm not getting any sound.
No, there is no sound, Sister.
There's no sound and it's lagging. Maybe Arif Patel can share this from his end.
is it better now?
Sister Siddika, you can't put yourself on mute when you're sharing the video. You have to be unmuted as well.
Okay, let's start again. Can you let me know if you can hear the video?
Whoever is running the video has to be unmuted. Not working yet.
I think Brother Patel has to unmute her.
Why don't we come back to her presentation a little later on? Maybe we go with the candidates that are on this meeting now.
That sounds like a plan. Let's do that. I'm going to go back to just the candidate view. And Brother Asad, are you on? Doesn't look like Brother Asad's on. So why don't we go to Sister Nicole? Sister Nicole, please introduce yourself and just do a quick background on your qualifications and why you accepted the nomination for the Board of Trustees.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Hi, I'm Sister Nicole Khan. I came to the ISCJ many years ago through weekend school. I have tried to build bridges and relationships within the community to make things better. I've been on the Board of Trustees now for a year plus. With the coronavirus, we were extended, and that's why we're here today, is to discuss and figure out a new team that will continue, inshallah, to make proper decisions for the Islamic Society and move us forward. I'm very excited to be here. I enjoy the work that we do at the Islamic Society. We were able to do a food pantry as an outreach to the community, and for internal purposes, I think we've been highly successful. If anybody has questions, please email us at foodpantry@iscj.org. I think that's it right now, Sadiqa. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm going to jump over to Brother Sharif. Please introduce yourself and your qualification and why you're accepting the nomination.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Sharif Batat. I've been a member of the ISCJ community, I want to say going on 17 years or so. I've been working with the community for quite some time. Previously, I was with the Expansion Funding Group. I was chairperson for a number of years there, and I really worked hard to make sure the school building was funded and built, and alhamdulillah, it was a big part of my learning experience as far as volunteering at ISCJ. Worked closely with the community to develop things like the Eid Carnival and other special events. Over the years, have come to really love the community and get to know so many of its members. Alhamdulillah, the time I've spent on the board, has been very productive, very eye-opening, understanding all the challenges that we have to face as a society, and working closely with members of the board and leadership. The food pantry is also a very important project that's working with Sister Nicole and others. We started something that I believe is a very important bridge to the other communities around us, and connecting people with need and finding solutions, at least for food security. Other things I've been working on with the board revolve around the sports facility and bringing that to pass, as well as how do we adapt to the new realities of COVID. So I'd like to think this is a journey that has been eye-opening for me, and happy to continue to serve the community in any capacity as required.
Jazakallah, Brother Sharif. I'm going to move on to Brother Ashik, Muhammad Ashik. Please introduce yourself, your qualification, and your reason to accept the nomination for Board of Overseers.
Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me? Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, ISCJ community. This is Muhammad Ashik. I'm running for the Board of Overseers position. I moved to South Brunswick 6 years ago from Lawrenceville. My journey with the ISCJ started. I enrolled my 2 kids to the weekend school. I led programs and the Quran Academy programs. I found out how wonderful the ISCJ community is. So I got amazed by the various activities and by the different programs conducted, and how much of the effort goes into each and every one of them. So I've been part of the weekend school, traffic committee, and the PTA for the last 6 years. I recently started assisting the Sunday school admin committee as well. So I've been helping with the Brother Dilavar and the principal on the Sunday school. I always wanted to make myself be part of the masjid activities. So I decided to be part of this election and run for the overseer position this year. As an overseer, inshallah, I'll try to be honest and mediate any issues and concerns between the BO trustees and the members in a fair manner. Inshallah, if elected, I would fulfill my duties to the best and to keep the masjid activities going forward in a wonderful manner. Jazakallah khair for giving this opportunity.
Jazakallah. Thank you, Brother Ashik. I'm going to move to Brother Syed. Brother Syed, please introduce yourself, your qualification, and your reason for accepting the nomination.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, everyone. I have been going to ISCJ for the last 20 years. This week is my 20 years, but only as just a congregant. I hadn't joined as a member until 10 years ago. It's ISCJ. Although I have wanted to do something, I never committed to doing something officially until a few years ago with the PTA. I'm a member of the Weekend School Saturday PTA committee, and I've been helping there for about I think the last 5 years or so. However, over the years, I've tried to see if I can. My biggest excuse was not being able to manage time properly, so I didn't devote any time to being an official member. So this year, I finally decided that as I have gotten better at managing other aspects of my life, it's finally time that I do a little bit more, not just reap the benefits of ISCJ being there, but also trying to do a little bit more for ISCJ. So this year, inshallah, I'm trying for the first time to run as a member of the Overseers Committee and member of the Overseers. And so I've gone through the ISCJ Constitution, and I know there are challenges that I will personally face, but I'm trying to see if I can handle that this year. That's why I'm starting with this. I am not involved with any of the committees. I'm actually intimidated by all the people that I see on this call who have been involved and who are so very involved with ISCJ over the many years. So I'm honored to be part of this candidates, at least to be able to try to do something for the first time in an official capacity with ISCJ. Personally, I work for JP Morgan Chase. I've been there for on and off for about 9 years now. I'm a technology program manager. I go to the Jersey City office, which is why I don't attend regular prayers here at ISCJ, only on weekends or only on Fridays when I'm home. That's pretty much it about me. Thank you.
Jazakallah, thank you, Brother Said. I'm going to move to Sister Atiya. Her pre-prepared video is lagging, so we'll have it linked to the website and you guys can watch it later. But for now, you will be able to see the qualification for, okay, so you should be able to see the screen. So Sister Atiya has been a former Board of Trustees and Overseers. She's a member of the ISCJ community for about 20 years, and she's the first woman chair and acting president of the ISCJ board. She works for the Center for Islamic Life at Rutgers University, a Muslim chaplaincy on campus, and has taught at Rutgers University for about 10 years. She is involved in interfaith work and is a co-founder of the Sisterhood of Salam Shalom, a private or nonprofit organization that promotes Muslim Jewish women's interest. And she's an attorney as a profession and has been working for a long time at the ISCJ community. So she's the other candidate running for the election. And Brother Asad Masrullah, he is already a Board of Trustees member, and he is currently working on a tech firm, and he has his BS from St. John's University in computer science. His family is long-term ISCJ members, and he lives right here in South Brunswick with his family. He is the liaison currently from the Board of Trustees to the Weekend School program, and he's done some wonderful things this year. He's also has his daughter attending 9th grade and doing work as Weekend School member. So some of his current commitment to the ISCJ has been outlined here, and you guys can actually learn more about their qualification through the link that has been provided and circulated for the ISCJ members. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to prompt you guys with kind of questions about your vision for the ISCJ. You all have been working with the ISCJ for quite some time. So if there are one or two things that you want to see changed for the better, what does it look like, and why are you the right person to make that change for the community? So I'll start again with Sister Nicole. You've got 2 minutes to kind of go over that topic.
Okay, so your question is, could you just repeat it real quick, Siddiqa, so I can make sure I got it clear in my head before I respond? Can Siddiqa hear me? Yeah, go ahead.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, can you please repeat it?
Sure. So if there are one or two things that you would like to change at the ISCJ, given your years of involvement with the community, what would it be, and why are you the right person to make that change?
Okay. Well, I will say this. I have been around ISCJ from the weekend school to obviously the Board of Trustees and everything in between, wherever it's needed and whenever it's needed. I try my best to do whatever I can for the greater good of my community and everything else in between. I would say that one of the things that I think that we could do better as an Islamic society is building those bridges with our neighbors and our community members in order to strengthen the existing ties that we have. One of the one of the things that I can say that we have done is the food pantry. And I just keep going back to it because it is an important avenue to connect not only our internal community members, but also external people that we've never come in contact with. You know, we sit on the corner of Route 1 and Promenade Boulevard in this beautiful space, very big campus, alhamdulillah, and it is grand. But we have to do, I believe that we could do better in making the people around us want to be part of what we see so great at the Islamic Society. So the food pantry has been an avenue to do that. So I think that our friends on Richard Road could benefit from us having greater ties with them. And I also believe that we can work together with other masjids to strengthen the Islamic network within our area. So those are a couple items. And I believe that I've tried to put my best foot forward. I have delivered in creating, again, this avenue with the food pantry. And I want to see that continue and grow, inshallah.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sister Nicole. I'm going to move to Brother Sharif. Your turn.
Well, much like Sister Nicole, I think I've spent a lot of time over this this period to better understand how we deal with our congregants, with our neighbors, with the broader community around us. And one of the things that I think we're still in the middle of, but I think we had a very nice start, emanating from the traction that we got from the food pantry program. We started to look at the recommendations of a task force that was put together by some of these board members, including yourself, Sister Siddiqa, regarding how sadaqah was distributed. And many people don't know, but the box for sadaqah is actually one of the largest receptacles for money at ISCJ beyond just the operations. And it is incumbent upon the society to effectively distribute that to where there is need, and providing some sort of structure around that and some more focus. Worked with others to bring that to the board, to raise the idea of having a dedicated, initially a task force, and then ultimately a committee focused just on the sadaqah program. And it is different from zakat. As you all know, there are different guidelines governing zakat and sadaqah distribution, and we wanted to highlight that. And what that does for us as ISCJ is opens the door to a programmatic approach to distributing aid, to connecting our resources to those in need, whether they're Muslim or non-Muslim. And that is a big distinction between the zakat, right? Zakat is restricted to the Muslim community. So that being said, that is just one example of the things that I am quite passionate about, and I want to bring forward, ongoing, because we're just getting started. And alhamdulillah, the board has been, incredibly supportive of that idea. And I think collectively, this board has been very special in the amount of time and effort we have spent to facilitate, connecting our resources to those in need. So that's just one area that, I think I'd like to continue to work on if given the opportunity.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Brother Asad, you're here and joined us. So I'll open this up to you. Welcome. So the question that the candidates are answering is, given your involvement with the ISCJ for a long time, what are the vision that you have, one or two things that needs to change for the community, and why you're the right person to be the catalyst to change it? So you've got about 2 minutes, and you can actually, since we did a statement for you for the introduction, you can add your background and qualification as well in this segment.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. One of the great thing about ISCJ is they have a lot of committees that they set up for people to do a lot of volunteer activities, and which is And I took I was part of a lot of committees. I started with the CAB was Career Advancement Committee is one of the one I guess I'm more active on, in which I did a lot of skill enhancement program for the community, so help them get better at it, and also help them in careers and finding better jobs, and also in networking with different folks in our community, which are which has been, I think, very great. Other thing I guess is a lot of social activities we do here. So we have a lot of volunteer activities for them, so to help out the community from arranging for the Eid and Ramadan programs. And currently I'm as a liaison to the weekend school community. I had an opportunity to work closely with them in for example, first time we did a 100% online courses. We also changed the ways weekend learning series that we made an opportunity for people to use the new books for them, new books that I get a lot of community were asking for us to make changes. So a lot of opportunities are basically here available for the community for them to work on, and I took some of them and help them out.
Thank you, Brother Asad. I'm going to go to Brother Ashik. Same question.
This is my first year of running for any position for the ISCJ, so I'm still learning stuff here from the Constitution. It is very exhaustive. If given an opportunity, first of all, it's all innamal a'malu binniyati, so it's your intention which what matters. So try to be honest and fair in all the dealings with the community and the members of the board. Try to, wherever any issues or things, be sure I'm supportive to the community or for all the members, and make it in a smooth transition between all the members and the communities to get the things done in a just manner. Changes wise, I have to see. For now, I'll try to be better than try to see what are all the process currently going through, and if I could make any changes to the process, make it not a big transition, make it little changes to get things moving in a better manner. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Brother Syed, your turn.
Like I mentioned earlier, this is the first time I'm running, and it's just to get to be able to know the processes, help out with any of the election procedures as defined in the Constitution for the roles of the overseers, and be able to mediate where necessary any other activities that the Board of Trustees assigned to the Board of Overseers, just trying to get more involved with the process. With my previous roles and or the current role as member of the Weekend School Committee, Weekend School PTA Committee, sorry, PTA, the same thing that we have done is, just trying to improve anywhere where we can help. But as far as the decisions, that's up to the Board of Trustees. So making sure that the role as the overseer and the role of the trustee, I am maintaining that relationship, and the duties assigned per the Constitution is what we'll try to follow too. Thank you.
Jazakallah. So we don't have any questions from the community yet, so we're still going through that. But I guess some of you have been part of the board, and maybe this is an opportunity for you guys to talk about the differences that you have made between being part of the board versus the committees. A couple of you mentioned being part of the committees. What has been the difference in being part of the board, where you're making strategic decisions, versus being part of the committee? What has changed that experience for you? And why is this important to be part of the board instead of just being part of the committee? Sister Nicole, I'll start with you again. You want me to mix things up, huh?
I didn't know it was ladies first today for everything, Siddiqa, but thank you. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
All right.
First.
So I will say this, for years, and people around the community and on this call can attest that I was part of the weekend school PTA, right? So I came in and it was really just about, working hard to figure out where we had to meet the need of the children for weekend school from a recreational perspective. I wasn't trying to get involved in their education per se, because I know that we can do a great job, and we have a long-term history of doing that, alhamdulillah, at the Islamic Society. But it was about jumping in and trying to figure out how to make kids have fun at weekend school. So we started 7 years, I guess that's how long, maybe 6 years, I'm not sure. But we started that. That was where we initially, tried to make an impact. So I was part of that for 6 or 7 years. And it was wonderful. But then when I started to see decisions that were being made at a higher level, I realized that maybe, just maybe, it shouldn't come from me at the committee level, or I should maybe take it up a notch and see if I can implement the things that I'm thinking about, the things that are important that I see from a weekend school perspective, the things that I hear parents talk about, the things that I see children say, right? These are the things that made me say, Nicole, maybe you have a greater role that's just not weekend school PTA. And that is an amazing thing because it is a personal connection with all those students that show up every weekend. And I feel so blessed that I was able to, hopefully make a positive impact in their experience coming. But I knew that it was time to move on. And, I put my name in, my name was put in, I accepted the nomination last time. I didn't know if it was going to work out, right? You always say, inshallah. But at the end of the day, I feel humbled and blessed that I was given an opportunity to make a difference at the ISCJ. And, that is what made me realize that it wasn't just about, staying on the committee level or that one piece, but it was maybe about affecting the greater whole, and hopefully that people would be receptive to it. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. That was a great answer. See, it makes sense to go first. I'll
now everybody else try to follow that up. Thank you. Okay.
Right. That's a tough act to follow. Let's go with Brother Sharif. Your turn.
I would say, I've been a member of various committees over the years, whether it's EFG or the steering committee, and understanding the needs of our community. The board has a huge responsibility to deal with the various stakeholders and to give attention to the most pressing needs first, obviously, and prioritize our time, which is limited. But just through the course of working in this past term, better understanding from some of our leaders like Ashraf Uncle and Brother Magdi and Brother Abbas and people who've been on the board for a long time, understand the inner workings of the interplay between committees and the budgets and our various responsibilities to the weekend school, to Nur Iman, to the broader community. I think it was a great education, but also an opportunity to share an opinion about something that we are passionate about. Each of us bring a perspective to the board that is governed by what we care about. So you could say Sister Nicole cares about the food pantry. Brother Asad has various committees that he's involved with, and so on. And I think we all were given the opportunity to say, can I get 5 minutes, or can I get 10 minutes to talk about this? This is an important topic. And I think this sort of democratic approach that ISCJ, I think, is very unique because of our Constitution and the founders of the society have given this process importance, and it continues to evolve. And participating in that process is very satisfying, and it also opens doors in your life outside of the volunteerism. So I could say without a doubt that the work that I have done in this past term has opened doors for me in my personal life that some level of contentment that I never had before. So these are things that are intangible, but I think we all share them at some level.
Jazakallah. Brother Asad, how about you?
Okay. Okay, let me bring it like this. My kids started weekend school from kindergarten onwards. So my oldest right now is in 11th grade. So I've been part of the community, coming with them as a parents, in school, and from there, basically, I get to meet our community people here. And what we did, we started off with we used to interact with each other people. And then we decided that, let's play cricket sometimes, soccer, just some more activities with them. And after that, we decided, okay, let's do some more, we have so I became part of the career advancement program community. And from that, I decided to program AWS classes or data science classes, or to meet some of the people like Sadaf Jafar, Montgomery Township Mayor. So community can, interact with them, or there are some people entrepreneurs or import expert entrepreneurs here. So bring them up. So get to interact with more people. That's how it started in I guess we would say local level, or as being a member of ISCJ community. And then after that, we became, I decided board would be one notch up, basically, in sense that, we wanted to make it some better programming for the weekend school, to, make some changes. The board is the place where decisions are made for the whole community here. So we basically, with that, give you more opportunity. Like I work with the ISCJ board and the weekend school community. I work with them to make it somehow, let's decide, what's the best way of making it better for our children. So that's really helpful in that sense, one notch up. One is just you being a parent and, meeting with other parents and trying to do something to help them. And one notch up is basically being part of the board that whether you can make the ISCJ decision for the ISCJ institution that would help the whole community.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So I'm going to skip the overseers just because you guys have not played been part of the Board of Trustees or overseers before. So I'm going to ask a different question. So when you put more than one person in a room, you've got differing opinions and you've got disagreements. So let's say that there are disagreements on a specific issue or concept. How have you resolved issues when there have been issues either in your professional life, personal life, or in a nonprofit you may be involved in? And what makes you give you the ability to execute on this in a manner that's best for the community? How do you set aside your personal feelings and focus on what's right for the community? So I'm going to turn this around and I'm going to start with Brother Ashik. Let's hear you and your thoughts on this, and then we'll go through the two overseers and then to the Board of Trustees.
Jazakallah khair for the question. The one thing which I always keep in mind is try not to judge the person, but try to understand them. So don't judge them first, try to understand them. So if there are many people in the room, there's obviously a lot of difference in opinions and a lot of judgments going on. So rather than judging the person, people around the room, try to understand what's going on. So if you keep an open mind on the situation, we'll try to come up with a better resolution on the things. So instead of going around and beating the bush against each and everyone, so pinpointing each one, try to have an open mind, make a note of all the issues, come up with a amicable resolution on that issue, whatever we are going to discussing at that time. So I'm one of the tech manager in my project. So as a manager, I've gone through so many issues and resolutions, and we have gone through discussions on each and every topic. So that experience might be useful when coming into the meeting and going in the meeting. So usual, don't judge the person, let's try to understand. So that's my part of thing. So that's my answer.
That sounds great. Wonderful. Thank you for that answer. Brother Syed, how about you?
Not the easiest question to answer, right? The question is easy, of course, but the answers are always difficult. It lies in the underlying details of what the situation is. Every situation is different, and we all have our own, we all bring our own biases to most of these situations. And over the years, as I have learned to try to look at the facts from what is actually being what is actually causing the differences, right? The disagreements. And like Brother Ashik is saying, yes, there is definitely the part where you need to really understand the background of what the issue is, and which also implies that you are looking at the facts, not just what is being said by either party, but also what is really causing the differences. Sometimes it's and of course in professional environment, it gets a lot more complicated. You need to make sure you have the facts right, and gathering the facts sometimes is not the easiest thing to do. You analyze things, and as somebody who has spent years in his professional life to as a business analyst, and then a project manager and a program manager, where I have had to interact with multiple teams of people with varying opinions, right, with their own agendas. Over the years, I think I like to think that I'm getting a little better at it, better at understanding the differences that people come with, and then aligning our agendas to make sure that if for whatever purpose we are serving, in this case, ISCJ's board, right, that we make sure the resolution that we are coming to agrees with what ISCJ, where I sit with ISCJ strategies. So it's understanding the differences, the reason for the differences, looking at the facts, and then making sure that whatever resolution we are coming to is always aligned to and is converging with what ISCJ is, with the way ISCJ is going. Yes, there will always be some disagreements that cannot be resolved, and we just try to make sure that we are reaching out for additional help when we need to, whether it's from some of the members of other members of the committee, whether it's other members who are more knowledgeable about the issue, look into other backgrounds. Some of these issues are, in some cases, somewhat historical, and so we all also need to take a look at those. So what I'm really trying to say is, putting my personal biases aside, putting my personal judgment aside, it's like Brother Ashik is also saying, that not to judge somebody just when you come to it, but looking at the facts, looking at the history, looking at the other underlying details to make sure that we are coming to a proper resolution that agrees with the board strategy. Thank you.
Jazakallah. We had a visitor saying hi, starting youth early on. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Brother Asad, I'll go to you. What are your conflict resolution strategies, and how have you used it in the past?
Well, well, alhamdulillah, this year I think the board has been unanimous in all the decisions. Look like there was really no problem in conflicts. But I do recall when I was also overseer a couple of years back, we did have at that time that we did saw like a lot of, it was not unanimous. There was like, sometimes it was divided, and there was, and at that time, I guess the chairman and the president play a really, at that time, chairman and president really, they play a really important role in the sense they bring everybody together or try to unite it, and one thing that's all been said, that's very important, is that whenever the majority vote, everybody has to agree to it. So even though it's one vote that's made that decision, everybody has to accept it. Even though you may not like that decision, but it has to be like that. Another thing is, whatever we say over there or we disagree about it, you should just stay into the board. You shouldn't, get out of the board and, try to divide the community itself. So we need to make sure that the message should be the community. This is a united, this is decision by everybody, not just that, okay, I voted against it. It wasn't like my vote, it shouldn't be like that.
Great point. That's a great point. Thank you, Brother Asad. We'll go to Brother Sharif. How about you?
Well, as far as conflicts, look, I think there's going to be natural friction, and it's healthy to have debate and differing perspectives. We do sometimes, get emotional about some things that we're passionate about. But I think the overarching theme for the board is ensuring that everybody has an opportunity to express, their opinion, and to try to, as best we can, drive to a consensus that makes us, the most sense, that is in line with not just our Constitution but Islamic principles. And we are challenged because at the end of all this, we are, human beings, and we are prone to feel passionate about certain things, and conflict exists to define, a solution for the society, and for the board to accept that responsibility with the leadership of the executive committee, the president, and and other members of the board. We have successfully come to conclusions on a lot of issues over the last year and a half, and when COVID hit, make no mistakes about it, there was a lot of conflict on what we should do, right? Should we close the masjid? Should we keep it open? How long do we keep it open? How long do we close it for? That level of conflict existed, and a lot of these decisions were not made very easily. So we had to take aside conversations from many of the community members, whether in support or to refute our decisions. And that is the responsibility of the board, is to take all of that feedback and try to make better informed decisions.
Great. Thank you, Brother Sharif. And last but not least, Nicole, your chance to respond.
Okay, thank you. So what I wanted to say is that, there is conflict. There can be conflict anywhere with anyone at any time. I don't care if it's a family, it's friends, it could be anybody, but we're all human, right? And we all make mistakes, and everybody has these ideas in their head. And one of the things that this board has done, which I think that we have, I can't say it enough. To be honest, I've heard a lot of horror stories of previous boards, and I can say that I genuinely have deep respect for each one of my board members. We're all different. Not one of us is identically the same, but we have all come together for the greater good of this society and made decisions that affect not just the individual. And we have done that keeping our eye on the prize, which is, again, what is best for the community? What is going to be something that's going to bring everybody together? We've had a lot of things that we've had to work through. Coronavirus is one of them. And even though we all had different opinions, and each one of us had something that was specific or relative to each one of us, we all came together to figure out what we needed to do for the unit. And that doesn't happen very easily. You have to have people that are open and willing and receptive to receive information. So we have a lot of open-minded people on this board, and I'm very happy that I was able to spend time with these people and figure out how to get our society continuing what we've done and growing from there. So thank you.
Great answers from all of you. So I'll take this moment to instruct the Board of Trustees on this call who are not running for the election to prepare questions from you and the Board of Overseers, other questions from internally, because you are the team that's going to be working with whoever is selected. So if you have any questions, please chime in. I'll just say that there are a couple of points here. It is really important for the team that's here to work together as a unified force for the good of the community. And so for the ISCJ members who are watching us today, your decision during the election and your participation during the annual general body meeting, where you ask questions that concerns you so that these brothers and sisters can understand where the community is feeling, especially in these tough times, is very important. And so we as the Board of Overseers, we're really encouraging you to participate in the election, participate in the annual general body meeting, both of which is important for us to reach quorum and actually get the election and the budget approved for this year. So it's important for your participation. And as you can see, you've got really qualified candidates who are enthusiastic about giving countless numbers of hours away from their family. And I've actually, I'll corroborate some of these stories, right? This team of Board of Trustees members and Overseer members have worked seamlessly in the last year and accomplished a lot of really great things for the community. And one of the things that Sister Atia had brought up is make this community the beacon for Muslim communities in the US. And so it starts with leadership. And these are the folks who are there to provide the leadership and the direction that our community needs. And without your voice, it's going to be not possible to give you efficient leadership, efficient direction for our community and youth, right? That's another group of our community that we want to focus on. So I'll stop here and I'll turn it over to the Board of Trustees who are on the call who may have any questions, and we can post that to the candidates. So I'll start with Brother Ashraf. Do you have any questions for the candidates?
I don't have questions, but I do have some insight to discuss in a way. It just so happens that my term will be expiring next year, and I won't be in the board for 2 years. So I just want to give some insight as to what we should be looking for, because these are the individuals who are going to be our board members for next 3 years. Surprisingly, I did not hear from any of them the challenges that we have financially and the membership of the community. As you know, that 50% of almost our finances come from the membership. And with this event, with the corona and other masajid coming in around us, we will see a drop in our finances. So we have to find ways. Hopefully, inshallah, masjid will continue operating it. But we need to make this society more vibrant, more financially sound. And we have to find ways. I tried to have a membership committee which has done some work, but I don't see the way it should be. They should be very active. They should find out the reasons why our people are the membership is going down. Because if you see right now that 50% of the school parents have not registered on the ISCJ side. And similar is happening in Nur Iman, that many, at least for as Brother Abbas may give us insight on that one, but their membership also has not signed up for continuing their children. So when a child is not there, unfortunate part is people then they drop off their membership. And that really hurts me very much, because it should be not linked together. Even the children go somewhere else, parents should continue to support this society. So my request to all the candidates, and of course, all the 4 members are there, only one has a chance of being dropped out because there are not too many candidates anyway. So what I'm saying is all of you who are there, they are going to get elected. So challenges onto you is to look into this thing, how we are going to make the society more vibrant, because in this country, whatever you do, money is the issue. So doing all the things in the committees, in the outreach, it's all done with finances. I think we should have a finance committee probably to look into this one, that not month to month or year to year budget. We should have a surplus money somewhere that could do many other things, investing in other avenues where we can get more money. So that's one of the things that I would like to say. Second one is we don't have a, what should call it, leadership training. I think we should start a course or something where we train our people to become the leaders of this community. We learn whatever we have, either we are born with the certain characters, or we learn from our place of work, because see how many training they give it to you, and the purpose is they want you to take there where they want you to be there. So we have to do this ourselves as well, because the two persons who run the society as a leadership is the president and the chairman. So you have to aspire to become those two individuals, okay? I mean, everybody counts, but I think when it comes to the making the decision or taking the society to somewhere, these are the two individuals or two positions that have to bring you to that level. So my request to you is that you all have the opportunity next year to become a president or a chairman or vice versa, okay? So, and I'm not belittling these other positions that we have, like secretary and the treasurer or whatnot. But these are the people who take the responsibility. So have in your mind that when that position opens up, how you can help the society, not being pushed in. I mean, you should be ready to take that, and it takes some time by the hours, okay? I'm luckily that I am retired right now from my work, and I can contribute more time. But your situation will be your wife, children, traveling, family, business, your job. So get ready to that situation where you could be the leader in a real sense. I mean, you are leaders, but leader's leader. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. My next one is in the Constitution. We have a very rigid Constitution. I think we need to do something that doesn't wait a year to make an amendment. I think we should look into this one, because there are situations where we see difficulty and we don't have the luxury of changing those scenarios. So I think we have to look into this one, overseers as well as the board members, that how we can make certain things which make our life easy to change things which according to the environments. I think that's about it. And to the overseers, of course, I think we need also be a training in the overseers. I don't know how much we, I'm in so many years, I still don't know the Constitution. Okay, I have to go. Actually, on my website, on my desktop, I have a Constitution there, because immediately you need something and you don't know. So my request to the overseers is that please read this one, and the areas which you see that you will be encountering during this time, whether it's a pandemic or this election change or whatnot, you should be ready to make those decisions, because if you don't have that, our society will be, because you are also the leaders, okay? You have to resolve the issues. You have to evolve the issues. So my request to you is that read the Constitution and see how it is applicable within these days. And is it enough to solve the problems, or do we have to change that one? Even though you're overseer, you may not be able to change the Constitution, but you can read and you can say, hey, we have this problem here, how we can solve this one. And Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you and give you the strength and get ready for the next year and 3 years, inshallah.
Inshallah. Jazakallah, Brother Ashraf. I think you hit on a lot of really important topics here with leadership training, our ability to make a little bit more flexibility in our Constitution. So it goes back to one of the comments from the YouTube channel to the Board of Overseers. First question obviously is the fact that this role is going to be closely related to making sure that the rules of the Constitutions are obeyed by the leadership team and the board. And so making sure that you understand the structure of the Constitution, but also understanding that the Constitution needs to change because our community is changing. So questions to the two of you. First question the members want to know is, have you guys looked at the Constitution for the ISCJ? And what are your thoughts around the amendments and the changes that you need to bring to the Constitution? Because both of you are new to the board, but it gives you an opportunity. It's actually a position of strength because you are not tied down by the Constitution. It allows you to think outside the box, especially given the situation that this pandemic has caused all of us to stop thinking as we've always done and completely change the direction of how we do things. So this is kind of momentous for you guys to come into the board in this time. So can you speak to your expectations or your ideas for how to institute changes in the Constitution or work with the board to get this amended?
I'll go first. Yeah. So I did read the Constitution before even accepting the filing for the nomination. So it was a extensive document. Alhamdulillah, our founders have done an extensive job in writing the Constitution. I really appreciate all that thing. So even after that day of nomination, I've been now and then reading the Constitution here that to understand my responsibilities and the conflicts and any restrictions for my duty as an overseer. So alhamdulillah, I've been doing it. In regards to the amendments to the Constitution, inshallah, it's a difficult thing because it's a core part of our community. So we need to carefully review any changes coming up, as we said, the new COVID situation and all those things. We have to carefully review the changes which needed and get the approval, consulted with the Board of Trustees and make that as an amendment to the Constitution. I'll try my best to do the job to get any amendments into the Constitution. That's all. Thank you.
Brother Syed, how about you?
Thank you. Yes, I did read that before accepting the nomination, and after having read the extensive document, I was a little hesitant at first that there are a lot of responsibilities and there are a lot of details that need to be followed. So I will admit that, yes, I have not fully memorized it yet. Not that I'm going to, but there are certain points, of course, that we need to keep in mind all the time. And it is going to be challenging to make the changes. Again, as overseers, we are not necessarily changing it. We can make some of the recommendations, but we are not going to be changing it, but maybe bringing it up to the Board of Trustees, discussing it with them. Now, as far as the changes go, yes, I guess over time, yes, so we need to adapt to some of the things of present day world. And for that, yes, there are definitely some changes that we can think of, but from those of you who have, I'm sure all of you board members have are conversant in it. Some of our members may have read it, and there are not too many things that can really be changed. Yes, there are. Like Brother Ashraf mentioned that yes, we need to be able to make it a little more flexible. I agree, but which ones we are making flexible, which ones we are not, it's going to be a little tricky, I guess. We have to very carefully tread that. As far as I think implementing the changes required for the various committees or for the processes that we have, that will probably be where we should really focus on. The Constitution itself is, like everyone agrees, is very, very detailed. Making it a little more flexible, like Brother Ashraf said, is probably the way to go. But we have to be, I think we need to also be very careful when we are doing that, because we don't want to be reactive to just be plain reactive to what is happening now, but also keep in mind how it may impact our future year, coming years, right? Things will change, COVID will go away someday, inshallah, and we will all get back to a regular pattern where we are going to the masjid regularly, we are meeting in person, we are dealing with all these other challenges that will be coming up. So we have to keep that in mind as well when we try to make any of these changes. Consider whether the way the Constitution is written is really something that was really thought of for a longer term strategy, right? So I, at first when I read it, I thought that, yes, it is very, very rigid. And then the more I went back to it, I was like, okay, so that makes sense in those kind of scenarios. This makes sense. And yes, this may need to be changed, but yes, some of these may be okay over the longer term. So when we talk about changing the Constitution, we probably need to be very careful about that. And whereas what we can do as committee members, as other just regular members trying to help, I think we can focus a lot more of our energy there to make sure that those are more effective. We have a lot of committees, we have to admit that, right? We have a lot of programs. We probably have more programs than any other masjid in New Jersey, right? I don't know about other states, but making those programs and committees more effective and getting more participation from all our people is probably where we need to focus a lot more of our energy, I would say. That's it. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. Yes, I think that the long-term direction for the community is important to keep in mind. But remember, this is for the members at large, that the reason why it takes a year is because what the founding members thought about is not making short-sighted decisions for the community and have unintended consequences later on. So it is a very rigorous process, and it takes a lot of time. And usually the stakeholders here are the Board of Overseers leading some of those changes. But you as a community member can actually ask for amendments to how things are done. And that's something I personally did not know before I got into the role. And so it's important for you to understand, one or two of you guys thinking, hey, we can change this process. You are absolutely enabled by our Constitution to put in those amendment process and policies that you envision and take it to the Board of Overseers, who will then work with the Board of Trustees and the Constitution Committee to make sure that we understand the long-term impacts, what kind of resources we're looking at, and then go ahead and pass it. And you, on the annual general body meeting, that's when the amendments are approved. So you're in the process of approving these amendments as well. So you're a critical part of this decision-making. And so not only in the beginning, but also making sure that this happens. So just understand the fact that, you know, we don't want to be too quick to make changes, because sometimes we don't look at long-term impacts, but that shouldn't be hamstringing us from making the well-needed change that our Constitution needs and our ISCJ community. So I'll stop there. I know Brother Vasi, you had a question for the candidate, so I'll turn it over to you.
Assalamu alaikum. I know it's an awesome responsibility to be a trustee or in board of overseers of ISCJ, and it requires sacrifices as well from your personal time, family, etc. So I'm very glad that you're all stepping up to serve the community. Thank you very much for that. I have a very quick question for the Board of Trustees candidates because you've been in board before. Very quickly, I think since we're on the topic of Constitution, do you, the three of you that are on the call, do you see any shortcomings in our current Constitution? If so, what they are and how you would like to change them?
I guess, anybody else? So I think your question is really valid. The complexity is something that is intimidating. You know, when you go through the Constitution, it's very intimidating to understand the complexity of how to run this, how the ISCJ runs and all the different structures that have been in place. So I'll speak to my experience and I'll share that with the two of the new overseers who are running for the role. Just not being involved from the beginning, there are some gaps that you just don't have the ability to understand. And because of the fact that every 3 years the Board of Trustees members change, it's hard to keep continuity on all the issues. So what I've personally seen is some topics being deliberated on or discussed multiple times, right? There's duplication of effort between a set of trustees to the next set of trustees every year. So every year we have had folks who change. And so having better continuity of why we did a certain thing and why we are continuing to do it and asking the questions so that we can change it. I don't think in my first year, I asked enough questions of why do we do it the way we do it? Is it because of some resolution or is it because of the Constitution, and connecting some of those answers? I think those have been really challenges that I think we're getting past, but definitely I would say rigid training system for new people who are coming in and getting them more acclimated with the system as is really important, because I think the first 3 to 6 months is, you kind of feeling your way around it. You don't really know who to talk to and how to get some answers. So that's been some of the challenges that I think we can fix by training, by looking at whether it's a Constitution-driven thing or it's a resolution, just giving that background. I would say that's my 2 cents. Brother Arif?
Thanks for the information.
Okay. I'm gonna open it up again to anybody else. Brother Abbas, any questions for the candidates? There are a couple of questions that straddles between the meet the candidate discussion because of the Board of Trustees already in the board running for the election, and then the virtual town hall. So given that we're past the hour, I'm gonna go into the questions that kind of straddle both. And this is a question that was very specific to the sports complex. So I'll start with Brother Sharif. A lot of work has been done on the sports complex. You've led the effort. And so in the pandemic situation, a lot of our rules needs rethinking. And so is there any fundamental assumptions that we had when we started the sports complex discussion that has changed, and how has that kind of modified our thought process and our direction going forward?
Well, I think, this journey for the sports facility with the community and bringing that project forward has been one that has evolved, right? So we started, I want to say, almost 4 years ago at this point, looking at converting that commercial office building to a sports facility for the benefit of the school, the community at large, to provide revenue generation for ISCJ, but also really to provide a bridge for the broader community, for our neighbors. And sports is a universal language. COVID has introduced challenges to sports as we understand sort of the limitations of how to make use of space and capacity limits and things like that. I can't foresee the future, but there is a long road, obviously, for construction development. I mean, we'd like to think that this agreement will be, finalized shortly, and we can look at an 18 to 24 month window for construction. That being said, we'd like to think that in 18, 24 months, this pandemic will have a solution, a vaccine that covers the vast majority of the population, and regulations will change. But I think it is a long enough window that, should there be an extension that's required for us to open the facility to make sure that it is safe for everyone, of course, that will be taken. But yeah, I mean, the COVID has definitely slowed things down for us. We would have liked to have been a little further along with this project, but it halted every part of our life, right? So, I can't single out this particular project and say, well, we could have gone faster. I think it's we had a lot of momentum going into this. We found a very capable investor and a developer that was passionate about this, was Muslim, and somebody who was able to bring this forward. And working with that individual and that group, we made a lot of progress. But then COVID hit and really put the brakes on a lot of things. So optimistic, inshallah, with the cooperation of the board, that we can see this to the next stage. But inshallah, we have to adapt.
Thank you for the answer. So a couple of things that I think is important for the members generally to know based on comments here is that when we have virtual town hall, or when we used to have town halls, when we used to have these gatherings where you have the ability to ask these questions, we used to see very, very low turnout. And one of the benefits of COVID is that we've actually, everybody with all of our technical issues and challenges, we've embraced virtual way of meeting, which has improved our chances of having these conversations, showing up, asking questions much more easier at a click of a button. So I am actually just really imploring the grander pictures of more community involvement. Ask the questions, provide directions, because if we don't understand where the community wants this ISCJ to go, we're going to make short-sighted decisions or ill-informed decisions because we haven't understood what your needs are. So please make sure that you are talking to your leadership here and making sure that you're providing feedback, good and bad. We've had some amazing progress done on several issues, and I'll go to there at the end of this conversation. There's specific questions about the Board of Overseers, to the Board of Overseers on the election process. So I'll take a moment to address that. So we mailed all of the mail-in ballots over the last week, and you should be receiving them this week, inshallah. And if you've received it already, you'll see that there's a tracking code that we're using to track the number of ballots that have gone out. And one of the question is, are you able to, in the ballot, actually track who the ballot is from? Is the names of the members tracked with the number? And the answer is, no, it's not tracked. It's actually a random generated code, which is actually being used to count the quorum, which is a requirement for us to pass this election results, to approve this election results. We have to have 15% quorum, which is an amendment that was made by the Board of Trustees. for the virtual way for us for a temporary fix. So 15% means that we need about 300 people to show up, vote, and participate in the annual general body meeting. So that's a lot more than 27 people watching right now, right? This is really important for the community to show up and do this. So the answer to the question that's posed is no, we cannot track who voted for who using the random number. It was something that was just put on the ballot for us to, when you join the annual general body meeting, you'll use that to validate that you are a paid member. Another clarification, if you didn't know, is that if you're not a paid member of the ISCJ as of December 2019, you cannot vote in this election, and you cannot approve any resolution that comes up during the annual general body meeting. So it is a way to just allow you to come into the virtual meeting, and the ability for us to make sure that somebody didn't make 5 copies of the ballots and put in numbers, right? We've heard a lot about voter, frauds with the mail-in ballot. So we're trying to put infrastructure around it. So that's the reason you see that. The other question is who is going to be running the process? The process is going to be myself, Brother Arif Khan, who's going to be the next year's chief overseer, and Brother Riyaz Siddiqui. Brother Riyaz Siddiqui and I will be ending our term as of when the election results are finalized, and then we'll go from there. Those are specific questions about the election process. The mail-in ballots need to be due back to the ISCJ October 1st. If you're mailing it back, if you're coming in, you actually can drop it off during the Jummah, so you can do that in person. But October 2nd is the physical deadline. And then October 4th is a similar virtual meeting where we'll have the annual general body meeting with those random numbers. You'll get to access that meeting. So I'll stop here, and this is where I'm going to move over to the virtual town hall. We've got Brother Muhammad Ashraf, who's the president. We've got Brother Magdi Hagag, who's the chairman. We've got Brother Abbas Sheikh, who is the treasurer, and Sister Nicole Khan, who's the executive secretary for the Board of Trustees. And the couple of questions that are prompts here is, what is going on with returning back to the masjid? Are we getting back up and running after the COVID issue? So I'm gonna turn it over to Brother Ashraf, and I know Brother Vasi has been working on that. So you guys can choose who's gonna answer it on those topics.
I think Brother Vasi, you are up to date, because I am not going regularly to the masjid. I do go when nobody's there to look at the progress which is going on, which is actually materialistic. But you are there, and I really appreciate you and your task force, who have been working very hard to make the decisions, talk to the people, get the heat from them, why we are not going in. So the only thing I know right now is that this morning, inshallah, we had a Fajr prayer inside. And as you had suggested that we should not advertise it yet, we just use the existing people that is kind of a startup, to see that we are ready to do it. So I will request you to give your view as to what you saw and how it is going, and what you intend to do in the future as a part of the group, inshallah.
Yes, inshallah. I think, the people that come to the masjid are guests of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, therefore guests of a board of trustees. The comfort and safety are of paramount importance to the board of trustees, right? We've been diligently working on a reopening plan for the last 2-3 months. We had the Board of Trustees asked me to lead a task force to reopen the masjid around middle of August. So we formed the task force. We brought all the folks together, a doctor and all the dedicated volunteers of ISCJ. We put a plan together, and inshallah, alhamdulillah, the fruits of the plan is that we were able to open the masjid this morning. I actually went and observed all the salats for the last month or so to experience the hardship of folks that are praying outside. Now, after seeing that, after seeing them, pray in the heat and in the cold and the rain, now, alhamdulillah, we are able to put an end to that, at least for the daily salats. So the daily salats, we are opening, it's a soft opening. So the first salat was this morning. So we will monitor this very closely. And then inshallah, this is still work in progress, so to speak, but we will increase our salats to almost daily salats to be prayed inside. Then eventually we will, as the weather gets colder and colder in November, even Jummah salats may be brought inside once we have prepped up the place. Even now, we do not have carpet, but we are working hard to get that carpet in. But people, the floor is very clean. So we have all the COVID protocols put in place. So in order to come to the masjid, you have to, of course, wear the mask and register yourself. There is a salat supervisor for every salat in the masjid. So where we would take your temperature, make sure that you're registered, and then let you in. So I think this is a good step forward. We will build on this. We will make sure that the people are safe and comfortable in our masjid. I'll stop there.
Well, Wasi, I have a question to you. I heard that there are some people, members and non-members who pray outside. They want to continue praying outside. So you will be looking at both the ends, inside and outside, how this is going to work, because I don't know how many people want to pray outside. They don't want to come inside. So we have to keep an eye on that one as well.
That is correct, Brother Ashraf, right? So once the inside is set up, right? So right now my entire focus, the task force entire focus is on making the inside proper for safe to pray inside. Once we get past that, what I actually want to work on is making the outside also comfortable for the people. So we do want to have some accommodation for people that do not want to come inside to pray. So we want to really clean up the parking lot, maybe even think of a canopy or something more comfortable on the ground. I have to think about that, but essentially we will have some comfortable accommodations even for people that would want to pray outside. Yes, that is definitely on the task force to-do list.
Jazakallah, Brother Vasi. The next item that I have on my list is just a quick reminder that the 2020 operating and capital budget for the ISCJ is what's going to be passed during the annual general body meeting. So you will be receiving the statement for your review, and if you have any questions specifically around the budget, Brother Abbas Sheikh, who is the treasurer and the Board of Trustees member, he's the one who is the person who will review that during the meeting. But if there are any specific items that you want to mention, Brother Abbas, about the financial statement, maybe we'll take a moment to make some comments. Or Brother Ashraf or Brother Abbas about the 2020 budget, as well as any impacts from the COVID situation that you guys are anticipating putting in to the 2020 and beyond budget that addresses pandemic concerns.
I have a comment, but let Brother Abbas give us what, because he's up to date on this one. Let him take a lead on this, and I will definitely have my comment when he finishes, inshallah. And Brother Magdib might have a view on this as well. Brother Abbas.
Can you unmute yourself, Brother Abbas?
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Perfect.
Yes. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Since Sister Siddiqa mentioned about proposed budget for 2020, I just would like to have few minutes. Of course, if anybody has a question, we generally discuss at the time of the annual general body meeting, and then we pass the budget and everything. Here my comment, we already prepared the budget in January, February time. At that time, we didn't have this pandemic COVID situation. So considering the budget, always when we prepare the budget, we look at what is the actual expense of 2019. And compared to that, we are anticipating what should be in 2020, means in the following year. So in January, when we prepared the thing, we did not consider any kind of COVID situation and everything, but we were thinking, and of course, the sports complex and the new masjid expansion area, how that will increase the impact of the expenses and everything. So at that time, we considered those expectations. And in that regard, we created that we had like 1,031,000, we had the actual income came. So we decided that we should have a increase of income of 1,125,000 because our expenses are going to be 1,125,000. And we always have to balance the budget. So whatever our expense, we should expect the income in that regard. So couple of categories, we increase the expenses like a housekeeping and everything, considering that the cleaning part of the masjid area, new expansion area, the utilities and everything, the security and everything. So that category we increased. Another, we increased the category for like a community and committee expenses. Considering that we are going to bring new programs and everything. And we saw one thing in just the beginning of the month of Ramadan, we brought Soeb Web, and we wanted to have this kind of scholarly people bringing to the masjid and giving them some kind of whatever their expenses and everything. So we increased that category also. But bottom line is we wanted to give the advantage to the community to listen all those scholarly things. So we 2 or 3 categories we increased the budget. Salaries and everything we kept almost the same, just regular little bit increase for like in our regular life people get 2-3% raise kind of thing. So that's the way we prepared the budget. Of course, after March, the situation has been changed so much drastically. And therefore, everybody is talking about the finance and what's going in the masjid and everything. And in the month of Ramadan, we did collection and everything, and we explained the situation, and Alhamdulillah, community has answered for general donation. So far, I have in front of me, like as of July, financial statement. And we collected, Alhamdulillah, and community gave good for the general donation. So we are managing and everything. But so far, I see the membership has been drastically down. And I just asked our accounting department to prepare some kind of comparative figures. And Sister Samina has given me just yesterday, and it is a little bit eye-opening kind of thing. I don't want to go too much detail, but I will just highlight 2-3 items that as of September last year, Nurul Iman families, 278 people has registered, and we got money of 118,000 last year. So far this year, only 53 family has registered from NUI, and we have income of 22,525. Weekend school last year was by this time 277 families, and this year we have only 159 families has registered, and generated only 67,000 income. So far last year, we have almost like a 260,000 by September, we got the money from the membership. And this year we have only, as of September, 109,000. So it's like a big difference. And as Brother Ashraf in the opening remarks, he mentioned that our whole budget and everything is we rely only on the membership. General donation, you cannot rely, you cannot expect people give, people don't give, people has also lost the job and everything, but Alhamdulillah, we got enough. So I would not say about general donation, they give a good money. But membership, we have to focus, and still we have 2-3 months time. So I generally request to the community, you used to become a member. That's the only lifeline, lifeblood kind of thing for the society. And please register as soon as possible. So far, our everywhere, like in our regular world, we see that our income is down, our company's income is down, so they reduce the expenses. And same way, we also did the same thing, that our income is down, so we reduce our expenses also. So we are, Alhamdulillah, in a good shape so far. So my request is the thing that we are trying to cut down the expenses. Of course, now we are going to open the masjid. So next 2-3 months, our cleaning expense, our security expense, our all other things, we have to buy some material and everything. So providing to the community. So it is going to be increased. But so far, I am very much confident that we'll manage, inshallah. But at the end, my request for them to register for your membership fees. And if you have any question for a budget or something, why this special category, we already mailed to you guys. We all received it with the ballot paper and everything. And ask me any question, and inshallah, we will try to provide the answer. Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah, Brother Abbas. There are a couple of, I guess, follow-up items. In terms of opening up the masjid, are we actually also opening up the expansion area, and is that usable right now for prayers? And what's the status of expansion area accessible for the members who come to pray?
I'm sure Brother Wasi will answer that question. But if anyone has a question, I will follow up that thing. But Brother Wasi is the best person to answer.
So, Sister Siddiqa, the actual prayer where we are offering the indoor prayers are now actually in the new area. So we are at the moment praying on concrete with our own, prayer mats. But very soon we're going to have carpet, and we're going to have a nicer area for that. It will be cleaned up, right? So the new area is actually open as we speak.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. The other clarification, I guess I will go off of the membership discussion specific to the Board of Overseers. What we keep when you guys come in to vote is that you have to be a paid member to participate in the election and on the general body meeting. And so it's a good thing to become members. I think we need to understand that the infrastructure and the programming and all the things that the ISCJ team, operational, and the committees are trying to do for you are all supported by the membership money. And so please consider being members and being part of the official process for our community. The other question that I see here is the reduction of quorum and what authorized the reduction of quorum. The governor actually and the legislation for New Jersey passed a law under the New Jersey pandemic situation that allows Board of Trustees of any non-for-profit organizations to change the constitution and the rules that govern how elections and meetings are run. And so that is what we used as presidents to go ahead and change the quorum so that at least we can go ahead, pass the budget, as well as have the election so we can have new members come in and start their 3-year term. So it was done based on legal ruling from the state for nonprofit institutions like the ISCJ. Any other comments from the Board of Trustees that you guys want to take, because I'm going to go, we have about 20 minutes, and I'm going to go back to the candidates to do a kind of closing remark before we wrap up. So a chance for the Board of Trustees, the President, Chairman, anybody else who haven't spoken to come back online and comment.
Assalamu alaikum, Sister Siddiqa, Brother Magdi here.
Alaikum
Alaikum salam.
assalam.
Yeah, Jazakallah khair for such a wonderful event. I do appreciate all the candidates. I've been listening quietly because everybody's done a wonderful job covering all the bases. I just wanted to add a small piece to what Brother Abbas have just said, which is related to the operating budget. I just want to make sure that all our community members who are listening right now, you also receive the capital budget. So, inshallah ta'ala, in October, we're gonna ask for approval for both operating and capital budget. Capital budget is extremely important given the massive expansion that we are taking on that will, inshallah ta'ala, be approved soon by the township. So please pay attention to that. I know that we have forecasted about 1.6 million to spend in 2020, especially on infrastructure. Obviously, that's not going to happen just because everything was on hold for 6-7 months. We should have had our approval back in March, April, but now it's not forecasted until then. But our current capital, fund is, and Brother Abbas can correct me, it's about $600,000 to $700,000. We're very well short of our goal, even if we slide the $1.6 million from 2020 to 2021. I know a lot of people are complaining about how bad our parking lot is, how terrible it is, especially those of us who have been praying then regularly. So I do encourage every community member who's listening to review the capital budget and also donate to the capital fund, inshallah ta'ala. So that's only remarks I have, Sister Siddiqa. Jazakumullah khair.
Thank you very much, Brother Magdi, for this addition.
Thank you. Now I'm going to go back to the candidates, and Sister Nicole, I'm going to start with you again, your closing remarks for the meeting.
Well, I'm always first. Well, no, this last time I wasn't the other one. So I appreciate it. Assalamu alaikum. Let me start saying that is, I want to take a minute to wrap this up and tell everybody that, we have a great community. We're all different. If we were all the same, it would be an awfully boring place. I appreciate the opportunity that I've had to be part of this team to date. I would like to continue it, but it's for the voters to decide. I think that, again, this community is an amazing place, and no matter who we vote in, I think that we will all see forward progress, inshallah. And again, no matter what, if you're part of the Board of Trustees, you're part of a committee, you can make a difference. And that is the most important thing, is that we want people to be invested in the society. We want people to be an active part of the society. And the only way that you can make a difference is by becoming involved. So I will say that if anybody wants to become involved, please find any one of us on the Board of Trustees. Brother Arif Patel is an amazing resource at the community to be able to figure out where we need help. But I strongly implore people to become involved, because it is essential for not only yourself, but your family, your children, your overall community. Everybody needs to be part of this process. So thank you so much for giving me an opportunity that I've had for the year and a half to make a positive difference for the Islamic society. And inshallah, we will continue forward. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam. I'm going to go clockwise, and I'm going to go over to Brother Syed Kareem, your closing remarks.
Thank you, Sister Siddiqa. All I'm going to say is, regardless whether you are voting for one of the candidates here or not, but please do something for the for the ISCJ committee and for the community. I see a lot of people coming to the masjid even now, even in this situation, and I know you're passionate and that's why you're coming, but help wherever you can. I have been, like I said before, I have been going to the masjid for 20 years now, but running for the first time, but not that I wasn't, and I'm in the committee for the last 5 years only, PTA committee, but even before that, the little things that we can do, picking up the trash in some cases, right? Making sure the place is clean, making sure that whoever you see getting into the parking lot has no blocks there to go in, right? Making sure that they are following the rules during the school hours and not to bring their cars in where the children are crossing, right? Just these little things matter. Somebody else is spending the time to do that for the community. So do that for the community. So please, instead of us, and I myself used to complain a lot about ISCJ before I started getting involved. So I can vouch for that. We all like complaining, but let's make sure we are doing something while we are complaining. I'm not saying don't complain, bring the complaints to the committee, but also do something before you complain. So regardless of who you are voting for, please make sure that you are doing something, not just voting for the members and expecting the members to do everything. I mean, not just voting for one of the boards or overseers and just expecting them to do everything, right? Please get involved. There, like I said, there are many programs and many committees we have at ISCJ. Some of them really well run, some of them not so much. We can do a little better, right? So let's make sure we are helping each of the committees, each of the programs to get more better and better at it. And I always go back to the examples that Brother Arif Patel and Imam Shibli has said. 5 years ago, when I accompanied, when I was fortunate enough to go to Hajj with Imam Shibli's group, and I saw that even there, not just in ISCJ, even there, Imam Shibli becomes a leader for all the other groups as well. Although he goes with one particular agency, one particular bus group, but even going there, he is representing ISCJ in a way that he doesn't even have to do that, right? Other groups, other agencies, people all are gathering around him. We can be the same thing. ISCJ can lead, continue to lead the rest of the community in New Jersey and in the US to set examples for other masjids, right? So whatever you are doing, those of you who are coming to the masjid now, who used to go there before the pandemic, who will continue to go there after the pandemic, please do something. There are lots and lots of things that the community needs done, that the community needs done. So please help us. Thank you.
Jazakallah. I'll move to Brother Ashik, your turn.
I'm excited to be part of this election process. Inshallah, I'm looking forward to this. If given the opportunity, inshallah, I'll try to do my best to, in an honest way, in completing this job. Inshallah. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Brother Sharif, it's you up next.
I don't know if there's much I could say other than, has been a privilege to work with these esteemed colleagues, brothers and sisters, for this period of time. And, if Allah wills it, I will do my best to continue the work that needs to be done here to serve the community. And, may Allah bless ISCJ. I think ISCJ is very unique when you look at other communities. And I have family and extended family in other parts of the country, and they have visited ISCJ, or they've resided here and moved away, and they've always come back and told me ISCJ is a very special place. And I continue to, to believe that, and I have no intentions of leaving the community anytime soon.
Jazakallah. And last but not least, Brother Asad, your closing remarks.
Assalamu alaikum. Well, I would just, I guess, reemphasize that, we have a lot of communities here, and it's a great opportunity for everybody to, participate somehow in there and help the community. And also participating in election is also very important. Even though we are lower the quorum, it's very important that we meet the quorum. And, this one way you could participate is there. And, alhamdulillah, it was a great opportunity to be part of Board of Trustee. And if I given opportunity again, I would like to serve. That's all I have to say. Jazakallah.
Thank you so much. I think we have a few more minutes, so if anybody else wants to make a comment, we can do that. And then I'll wrap up with a few more reminders, and then Brother Riaz will take us to the end with the dua. So any other comments?
I have a comment. This is regarding to the budget of 2020. I just want to tell the people at large that even though we are approving this budget, because we are right now in month 9th of this budget, this is the current year budget, which we normally approve in April, but due to pandemic, we have to delay it. So irrespective of what happens, we are in the 9th month of this budget already. So my request to all of them is that you have to approve it, because we continue to use this money for the current year. And in April, then you will be approving the budget for 2021. But this one is for the current year. So your approval is very, very appreciative. So don't consider that as for the next year. This is the year that we are going through it, okay? And I could say that we are balancing the budget, inshallah. Even with pandemic, it looks that the numbers are, at least for this year, they are very promising, and we should not have any problem financially there.
Jazakallah. And
Yeah.
see,
Sister Siddiqa, Brother Magdi here. Can I just add a couple of more seconds to what Brother Ashraf have said? I just want to sum it up. I know Brother Abbas have given a lot of detail to it, and to Brother Ashraf's point, to our respected community member, I am very fiscal conservative person when it comes to budget. Everybody knows this about me. For the last 30 years, I've been an ISCJ, and for the last 3-4 rounds, I've been Board of Trustees. To all our community members, if you look at the budget that we passed between 2019 and 2020, we only have less than 10% actually increase, given the massive, alhamdulillah, 10,000 square feet of additional masjid space. So if you really take away that additional expense, whether it's in insurance, whether it's in cleaning and housekeeping and so on and so forth, I would argue that if you take this away, you would actually see that our budget would have been less than the 2019. But just given the fact that we're adding 10,000 square feet of additional masjid space with only $100,000 increase, which is, I said, less than 10% from 2019, I would argue that it's a very conservative and it is warranted, as Brother Ashraf have said, regardless whether we're in a month 9 or not. Look at it on its merit. I personally believe that Brother Ashraf, Brother Abbas, and the rest of the board member have done their due diligence. We have done it well, and I think the budget is really very, very, very conservative. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us all. I just wanted to summarize where the percentage are, where to make it easy for the community member who received the copy to look at it from that perspective as a whole, as a sum of whole, and not just look at the 1 million and say, oh man, we're 1.1 million now. Yes, I do remember 20 years ago, we used to be at the 400,000-500,000, but alhamdulillah, we're growing, our activities growing. So just wanted to tie it all together and just tell the community the percentage of increase and why, inshallah ta'ala. Jazakumullah khair.
Thank you, Brother Magdi, for that clarification. I'm gonna go over a couple of things on the election side. So the question about, again, quorum, it is really important for the members to participate in the election as well as the annual general body meeting. Typically, you show up for the annual general body meeting to drop off your ballots. That is not how we're gonna do it this time. You have to send in your ballots, but virtually attend the annual general body meeting. We need quorum for both in order for us to make this happen. So that's one. The reduction of quorum, again, the answer to some of the questions there is because New Jersey legislation has passed a law that allows nonprofits to change process during the pandemic so that approval of budgets can happen and the election of Board of Trustees can happen. And that's the reason why we worked with the Constitution Committee as well as a resolution by the Board of Trustees that enabled us to get this going. So we are set for the election, set for the annual general body meeting, but none of this can be executed without you participating. So I really encourage everybody to participate in both the steps of our process to let us continue our operations. I'll turn it back to Brother Riyaz Siddiqui for a closing dua. I want to thank everybody, the Board of Trustees, the candidates who made their Sunday morning available to talk to the broader ISCJ community, and the continued commitment that you have to be part of the leadership team here. So I appreciate that, and thank you for the opportunity to have this meeting. I'll turn it over to Brother Riyaz.
I just need 30 seconds before the closing dua.
Sure, go ahead, Brother Wasi.
I just wanted to thank the reopening task force, Brother Arif Khan, our President Ashraf, Arif Patel, Dr. Saud, who helped us with legal medical matters, Umar Khadir, who helped us with legal issues, legal matters, Brother Habib Hassan. A particularly big thank you to Brother Khalid Asafi and his wife, who were very dedicated in this cleaning effort and reopening effort. Thank you very much, everyone. And also to our custodian, Robert Abdullah. He's been cleaning for a few days. And from the bottom of my heart, all the volunteers that showed up, because we had shortcoming in manpower, 10 people or so showed up to clean up the masjid yesterday. A very heartfelt thank you to all those. Assalamu alaikum.
Jazakallah, thank you. Okay. Brother Riyaz.
Jazakallah. And thank you very much for all the participants. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you. You gave your time and sacrificed your valuable other activities for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I had the honor and pleasure of being a part of the community since its inception. And Alhamdulillah, I want to encourage everybody else who is listening on the YouTube that please do think about participating by coming on the board, by coming in committees, by participating in any way you can. It is not only really rewarding in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the hereafter, but it's extremely rewarding in this world also. And I'm speaking from my own personal experience. Your horizon, your thinking, everything opens up. When you are in a group like ours, alhamdulillah, we are blessed like a small United Nations in our own ISCJ community. So whenever somebody expresses a different opinion, do not think that he is criticizing you or she is criticizing you. He's only opening up your thinking to a new way of thinking, alhamdulillah, at free of tuition cost. So you are gaining, and it is to your own benefit in both the worlds. So please do consider participating. Those who are watching, I'm encouraging them also, because all the young folks have to come in forward and become leaders of the future, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us and keep us on the right path. Let us do Suratul Asr together. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Wal asr innal insana lafi khusr إلا الذين
الذين
آمنوا
آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق
وتواصوا بالصبر.
جزاكم الله خير.
جزاك الله.
Jazakallah.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Alaikum assalam. Assalamualaikum. This is all of us signing off.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
السلام ورحمة الله.
جزاك الله.